Welcome to Faewood Mead. If you are new here, hi. Thanks for joining us. You can call me Mandy or Faye, whichever is easier for you. Today we are making a dandelion flower mead. Now originally this was going to be a spring flower mead. All of the sound got corrupted. I was already planning on making just a dandelion mead, but I wasn't gonna film it. But then since the sound got totally destroyed for basically the entire video, I decided to film this. So the first mead had a blend of dandelion flowers, clover, and violets, mostly found in my backyard. You do want to make sure that you harvest your flowers from places that don't use pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. We have never sprayed in our backyard, so all of those flowers are good to go. So before I get into the details of this mead, I did want to talk about some of the cool things that I like to talk about before I start, making a new kind of recipe for this channel. So of course, as usual, I will put the timestamp up here. So if you want to skip this section, it's like lint in the air. Cool. If you want to skip this section, go for it. It won't hurt my feelings. But this is kind of just where I talk about random lore or just health-based facts about the ingredients that I will be adding to my mead. So first I'm going to talk about dandelions. Dandelions are also known as the shepherd's clock or fairy's clock because the flowers open and close predictably. That's why it is named that. So they open with the sun and they close with the sun. Most of the legends and superstitions, I guess, I've found surrounding dandelions more so had to do with when they turn into the little puff balls, with blowing the seeds off of them. So one of them was like when you blow the seeds, depending on how many are left that like will not be blown off, that's how many children you'll have, which is kind of a scary thought. Don't really like that. And then the other one is if you manage to blow all of the seeds off the dandelion poof, that your love will love you back. Dandelions are actually like kind of superfoodish. They're super packed in nutrition. It's crazy to think that everyone nowadays just thinks of them, at least in America, just think of them as like weeds. And yet you'll see like dandelion root tea in health food stores. They do have high amounts of like vitamin A, C, and K, and they're packed with minerals like iron, magnesium, calcium, and potassium. So as far as their origins, I kind of forgot, I didn't really look up like a country of origin. They're not native to America. Let's just put it that way. So they've been used in like ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, and Greece. It seems to be where a lot of these kind of herbs, originate. So it is thought that they were purposefully brought to America because of their sort of known medicinal properties. It was known that they did contain good amounts of vitamins and things, and I imagine traveling on a ship that, because they have vitamin C, and this is just me speculating here, because they have vitamin C in them, that, maybe people ate them to keep away scurvy and stuff like that. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about were violets, because that was the other like major floral ingredient. I mean, it was almost half and half dandelion violet, a little bit more heavily dandelion, with just a little bit of clover in there, not like a whole lot. So violets were the other thing that I wanted to kind of touch on. So violets do appear in Native American mythology. I didn't really see a whole lot, but they are associated with love and bewitchment in the, I'm definitely gonna say it wrong, but Iroquois. I believe they are a tribe north of me. I think it's like up in the New York area, kind of up northeastern America. The roots and leaves were used medicinally, did not say what for. I could not find that. And the flowers were used, or could be used, as a dye, which I thought was pretty cool. No, my mead is not very purpley that I made. It's kind of orangey almost. I was afraid it's gonna come out brown, but it didn't. Now the mythos with violets was pretty cool, and there was a lot from Rome in particular. Some of it's kind of weird. So I wrote down 2 of them, just 2. There are more. I don't know, you can just look it up if you're interested. Roman or just mythology surrounding violets. So in one of the Roman myths, the goddess Venus got into an argument with her son Cupid. It's so stupid. So she asks him, who's more beautiful, me or that group of girls over there? And Cupid's like, the girls. So, you know, Venus did what any other mother would do in this situation. She went and she beat them all up until they were purple. Then they turn into violets. Yeah, I guess because of that, violets were included in love potions. And then in another story, so beyond being included in love magic, they're also used as like a symbol of modesty. So there's a story where the god Apollo, I guess this is more Grecian, Apollo fancied one of Diana's nymphs, one of her nymph friends, and in order to preserve her nymph's modesty and purity, she turned her into a violet, and then Apollo couldn't have his way with her or something. So violets have been used, in ancient Grecian and Roman times. They say from about 500 BC, the flowers have been used medicinally. They've also been used in wine and to sweeten dishes, which the violets that I used, I tried them. They didn't taste very sweet to me. Obviously, I'm sure that they had a different variety. I just used our backyard wild violet. I did look online to make sure that they are edible, and they are. So there's nothing weird about them. I think because they're wild, they just don't really, they didn't like imbue, I didn't like taste a whole lot from them, but I'm curious to see what they'll do to the mead, if anything. And that is it. That's all, folks. All right, let's do this. So I've got a little bit of water here. My D47 is warmer. Oh, I wanted to actually measure it this time because you only need 1 gram per gallon, and typically I'll pour like a half packet in, but there's 5 grams in a packet. So I'm like, am I just wasting yeast all this time? I mean, do I really need this much in here? I don't think so. So I wanted to measure it. So I have like a little half a teaspoon measure. It says literally nothing. Well, I don't trust my scale. Oh no, it says 0, but I already have like a whole half a tisp. Okay, I give up, never mind. That was a good test, I guess. I have that. That seems like enough to me. Probably is 1 gram. My scale is probably like just too cheap to like even pick it up or understand what's happening. I mean, I feel like I probably just took away like 1/3 of the packet, but still that's, instead of 1 more mead, that's like a total of 3 meads that I got out of it. You're gonna get some warm mead water. I also have some Go Firm. This is the largest package that they had in my brewing store. Use 1.25 grams per 1 gram of yeast. It's almost the same. I just always like fumble things. Like I think I'm doing a good job, and then it turns out I'm not. And then it turns out I'm just a mess. Hi, welcome to my channel where I only kind of know what I'm doing at any given moment. So the scary part is pouring this in here. I'm gonna stand up to do this because I think I need to. This smells pretty good. It does have I feel like Dandelion naturally has kind of a honeyish-ness to it. Although yeast are aerobic and anaerobic, I think. So they can reproduce with or without oxygen, technically. I don't know, I think research is kind of being done on like whether or not adding oxygen is even like necessary, because technically they can reproduce without it. I'm trying to be better about like actually educating myself in like the science of mead making and not just like recipe creation. Well, clearly I need a little bit more water in here. I think all my Go Firm and stuff has melted. Another thing I was gonna add is orange peel. I am going to put a tablespoon in. Oh my God, the dandelions. Jeez, I didn't even talk about that. So when you're plucking your dandelions, make sure you don't include any of the green stuff, okay? You just wanna pull out all the flower petals, And then if you're not going to use them right away, you can freeze them. Like, that's totally fine. But what I will do is I will collect them in groups because it is wearisome if you're like plucking petals all day. It kind of hurts your fingers after a while because you do need quite a lot. About 6 cups worth, actually. The first recipe that I used only called for 2.5, which is weird. So I actually have some of Dandelion Mead that I made last year, and it's very light. It's kind of like white wine-ish because it was one of my, like, I think it was the 4th mead that I ever made. And then looking, I saw that usually it's like 6 cups, not 2.5. So I think for this mead, I think I actually only pulled like a total of 5 cups. I can't fully remember. And it's when they're fluffed, so not like pushed down condensed cups, but like when you pluck them and then you just toss them in there and they're all fluffy. That's how much you need, 6 cups worth of fluffy flowers. Yeah, and then you want to soak those flowers for about 3 days. So I will pour hot water on them. You kind of steep it like a tea. So you use hot water and then I'll let it sit out for like a whole day, just out. And then I typically will put it in the refrigerator. I think you can leave it on the counter, but I don't know. I worried about like mold or something. Even though I did use Star San, I just have to go upstairs and add more water to it. I'm gonna fill it right about here. So I did use 2.5 pounds of honey. Just to recap, 5 cups of dandelion flowers, 2.5 pounds of honey, because I want this to be, I don't know, like 12% or so. I used clover honey from Dutch Gold, and I used a tablespoon of sweet orange peel and some D47. I added Go Firm. Fermade K, the actual nutrient, it's not recommended to just dump it, I guess. The best way to do this, it says to add over 2 additions. So the first is made at the end of the lag phase, which is after 6 to 12 hours, and then around a 3rd sugar depletion, which I don't really know when that is. So what I might do is I might wait. This is what I'm gonna do because it makes me nervous not adding anything in the very beginning because it's like, there's not a whole lot going on here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I am going to add a 1/2 teaspoon now, and I'm gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon later, like tomorrow. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate your support. As usual, if you're new, please subscribe. Let me know if you have made any flower meads or dandelion mead or a wine. And let me know how that went. If it's kind of at the top or the bottom of your list, if it's something that you would like to do, or, you know, I mean, I'm just curious about these things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. See you later. Bye. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, I'm an idiot. I need to take a gravity reading. 1.090. I think technically 1.092. So my spring flower mead was 1.082, which would be right around 10%. So this is gonna be a little bit more than that. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Okay, the end, bye.